the most dangerous tree in the world. In the most fortified border zone on Earth, 2 American officers walked toward a tree. Just minutes later, they were dead, hacked down with their own axes. And that was just the beginning. This isn't fiction. This really happened. And the U.S. military's response? A spectacle so over the top, it involved fighter jets, warships, commandos with chainsaws, and a giant sign that read, "No warning shots will be fired." All of this over a tree. You need to stick around because the deeper this story goes, the weirder and more unsettling it gets. The tree with a view. Let's rewind. Welcome to the Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ. Running along the 38th parallel is a strip of land 160 miles long and 2.5 miles wide. And it's jammed with tension. More tension than a family reunion where all the skeletons fall out of the closet. On one side, South Korea and its U.S. allies. On the other, North Korea, ruled by the unpredictable Kim Il-sung. In between, a whole lot of minefields, barbed wire, and binoculars. The heart of the DMZ is the Joint Security Area, or JSA, where North and South Korean soldiers stand face to face across a painted line. It's the only place where the two sides interact directly. Think of it as a very tense, open-plan office, except instead of passive-aggressive emails, there are sniper scopes and landmines. Now, about the tree. Growing within the Joint Security Area, a large poplar tree stood right next to Bridge 3, which connected the checkpoints on each side of the JSA. The tree's broad canopy blocked the line of sight between the UN command post and a key South Korean checkpoint, Checkpoint 3, which sat just beyond a bridge over the Sejong River. The bridge was nicknamed the Bridge of No Return. The name came from its grim history. Once crossed, particularly by prisoners of war, there was no coming back. Decisions made on that bridge were final. In this zone, where every inch of visibility matters, a tree isn't just a tree, it's a liability. The Axe Murders. On August 18th, 1976, a team of American and South Korean personnel was sent to prune the tree. Among them were 2 U.S. Army officers. Captain Arthur Boniface, 33 years old, from New Jersey, a West Point graduate and commander of the JSA Security Force, known for his calm under pressure. He was married and had 2 young daughters. And First Lieutenant Mark Barrett, just 25, from Arizona, a young officer, new to the DMZ and recently married. His wife had just joined him in South Korea. The team brought tools for the tree, not guns. That was standard protocol in the JSA, meant to reduce the chance of conflict. But that morning, as the team began their work, a group of North Korean soldiers gathered. Their commander, Senior Lieutenant Pak Chol, began shouting aggressively, accusing the work crew of provocation. Witnesses reported the North Koreans gesturing wildly and issuing warnings in Korean. Tension escalated as they grew increasingly agitated, and then, escalating suddenly, the North Korean troops grabbed the Americans' axes and attacked. Captain Boniface was bludgeoned and hacked to death immediately. Lieutenant Barrett tried to escape, but was chased down, struck repeatedly with one of the axes, and left dying in the grass. The entire incident lasted under 3 minutes. The North Korean attackers then calmly returned to their post. And the U.S. soldiers, under strict orders not to escalate, didn't fire a shot. The message from North Korea was clear. We can kill your men in broad daylight, and you won't stop us. The flex heard round the world, Operation Paul Bunyan. The U.S. was stunned and furious. But instead of immediately launching missiles, they rapidly planned a response, unlike anything before it. A show of force so massive, so absurdly choreographed it couldn't be mistaken for anything but a resolute admonition. They called it Operation Paul Bunyan. Yes, they named it after the mythical American lumberjack because nothing says measured diplomatic response like invoking a giant with an axe and a blue ox. On August 21st, just 3 days after the attack, the U.S. and South Korean forces re-entered the JSA. This time, not to prune. A convoy of 23 vehicles rolled in. Engineers with chainsaws dismounted, protected by fully armed infantry and South Korean commandos with grenade launchers. Overhead, helicopters circled. F-4 Phantoms and B-52 bombers were in the skies. Naval forces waited just offshore. Even an aircraft carrier was repositioned to support the operation. And all of it was coordinated to avoid further conflict, while making it absolutely clear that the U.S. was ready for it if there was going to be conflict. It was War Games meets wood chips. Imagine if Home Depot partnered with Call of Duty for a demolition mission, and they gave the contract to a guy named Buzzsaw, who's been waiting his whole life for this. In under 45 minutes, Operation Paul Bunyan was completed. The tree was gone. In its place, a large sign with just one succinct and clear message. No warning shots will be fired. And that's not a bluff. It was a statement of fact. North Korea blinks. And what did North Korea do? Absolutely nothing. They watched from their post, made no move to interfere, and, shockingly, issued a statement of regret the next day. Not quite an apology, but as close as they ever get. The wording was cautious, with one North Korean delegate reportedly saying, "The incident was regrettable." It avoided taking direct blame, but acknowledged the deaths, an unusual diplomatic signal from the regime obsessed with saving face. Apparently, North Korea had determined that one tree was not worth world annihilation. So, was this really about a tree? No. It was about face, a powerful and deeply rooted cultural principle in East Asia tied to dignity and public image. The United States responded to a brutal and bloody attack with a strategy that blended a little theater, some bold diplomacy, and overwhelming force. It was a performance specifically for North Korea and for the entire world. A chainsaw-powered reminder that peace, however strained and fragile, was better than war. 2 men died in a shocking act of violence. What followed wasn't retaliation. It was a signal, delivered with overwhelming force, meant to stop a war before it started. It worked. But it also showed just how close the world always is to tipping into global conflict, sparked by a single moment of poor judgment. So, here's an ounce. Sometimes the biggest messages are sent without a word spoken or a shot fired. And sometimes peace is preserved by pruning tensions before they spread, or chainsawing the nonsense before it grows limbs. And that's it, an ounce submitted for your consideration. Before you go, do me a favor. Next time you pass a tree, maybe don't assume it's just a tree. Also, like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and check out some of our other outstanding videos, because you never know which one might reveal the next moment where history nearly snapped. Thanks.